You're listening to the Open Books Podcast.
Your next chapter starts now.
Is it love, 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 love that I'm feeling? Is it love, 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 love that I'm feeling? Is she the one?
Hello, and welcome back to the Open Books Podcast. Today we're joined by an incredible woman and someone I have always admired, Ashley Deaton. I had the privilege of having Ashley as my dance coach for 4 years on the Pelicans dance team. Ashley's career began in 2002 as a dancer, choreographer, and coach for the New Orleans Hornets dance team. She quickly transitioned into a leadership role as a senior director of entertainment teams for the New Orleans Saints and the New Orleans Pelicans. Now Ashley makes it her mission to provide a space for everyone to reach their full potential. Please join us in welcoming Ashley to the Open Books Podcast. Ashley, how are you?
Hello, I'm so good.
We
I'm
are so
happy to be
excited.
here.
Yes, we have been looking forward to this, and we're just pumped to have you here.
I know we have so much to talk about.
We do. So
Am I
let's
holding
just
this
jump right
close
in.
enough?
I think you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're killing
Okay.
it. So how did you get into life coaching?
Ooh, okay, life coaching. So, as you said in the beginning, dance has been like a huge part of my life. I mean, since, high school and beyond, I danced in college and I ended up dancing for the Hornets and then coach, choreographer, director, all that good stuff. So, I've been in a leadership position for most of my adult life, kind of in the dance world, right? Or definitely in the dance world, not kind of. Um, and I've also had my own personal issues with mental health, with, confidence and imposter syndrome and fear of failure and all that good stuff, right? So, um, on my own journey, I just really I feel like I have an inner makeover, like an outer makeover feels so good, but like you don't know how good an inner makeover feels until you feel it, right? Like just to have your whole life be more in balance where you're feeling more peace and more joy and more confidence and more trust in yourself on a pretty regular basis, right? Is really amazing when you used to have a lot of, you know, just anxiety, inner self-talk, that self-critic being really loud and negative and, just doubting yourself a lot. So, I went through my own path and just had that transformation and felt so great that I just wanted to share it with everybody. And when I decided to leave the Pelicans and the Saints, I kind of left with the mission to do all the things that I love, but just on my own terms and really making as much of a difference as I can. And so, mentoring my team members was really one of my favorite things about that job. And dance is always going to be part of my life. It's so funny because if I'm not dancing, I'm grumpy. Like if I go too long, if I go
Same.
too long without dancing, I'm starting to snap at people. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I need to dance. I just need to dance.
I love that.
I just need to dance. So I'll always dance. But I do, yeah, I went through several life coaching certification programs, health coaching. Health and fitness have always been important to me. I think just most dancers, it kind of has to be somewhat important in your life, right? I mean, we're athletes. Let's face it, right?
Put some respect on the dancers.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, I mean, all that stuff really interests me. Just mindfulness, meditation, journaling, mental health. I'm just really, I had a mother who was bipolar and really just wanted her to be happy. And if I can help people just to feel good about themselves, realize their potential, and just stop living for other people's expectations, then I would feel so great about myself. I do feel great about myself, just helping people.
You said so many things that just like struck a chord with me. One, imposter syndrome, because I think so many people have imposter syndrome. And two, it seems like everything what you just really just said was finding that like inner peace is so important.
I mean, I think it's huge, right? Like your inner
Absolutely.
world, your whole outer world is just a reflection of what's going on inside of you, right? And
So true.
your inner world is the things that other people don't have the luxury of having access to. It's your thoughts, it's your beliefs, it's your emotions. And, people can make assumptions and they can get a little piece of that, but a lot of us are really good at wearing masks too, right? And just pretending to be what other people need us to be. So it gets exhausting. And when you can get to a place where the person that you're being is exactly who you want to be and you're not worried about other people's expectations, you realize that you're kind of exceeding people's expectations and you don't have to do as much work.
Absolutely. And I know you mentioned journaling earlier, and I feel like when I journal, that's when I can see my true self. And even though sometimes I'm not living that out in my day to day, when it comes back to that, I'm like, I know I can be this woman. She lives inside of me.
Yes.
It's just feeling the freedom and the confidence to be here all the time.
100%. Like a lot of people, I didn't like journaling when I first started, because I was such a people pleaser that I was like editing everything I was writing, Oh, so
Speaks to my soul.
yeah.
Seriously, people pleasing.
So and so wouldn't like that I said that, or oh, that's not very good grammar. I need to reword that. Or like I spent so
Right.
much time editing what I was trying to write that I wasn't getting anything meaningful out, right? So I think when you start to journal, it's like you just need to like throw up on the page, right? Just let it out, however it comes, however messy, because that's the only way you get out your truth and you can really learn about yourself.
Such good points. I'm wondering when it comes to journaling, because this is something that I experienced when I first started, like attempting to journal, is I felt kind of silly. Like I felt like I was talking to myself, and I felt like weird about it. Is there like any tips you can give for coming out of that and just like embracing it? Because I kind of gave it up because I was like, this feels weird. Like I was talking to myself.
So, first of all, I talk to myself a lot, but I enjoy my company. I'm a pretty
Maybe that's the
I
point.
think
You have to enjoy your company.
I think I'm a very good conversationalist. Um, I think we're so used to living in this world that says, you can't focus on you. Other people have to be more important. You have to do for others. You have to put them in front of yourself. And I mean, obviously, it's great to be selfless and to do things for other people. But where we're missing the mark is we're forgetting that, like, we are special beings too, right? Like, if we don't take care of ourselves and nurture our mental health, our energy, our well being, follow our passions, we're not giving our best self to the people around us, right? So, for me, when you say that, it makes me think that maybe your norm, your comfort zone isn't talking about yourself or loving on yourself or whatever. So it's more awkward. It's easier to talk about other
Yeah,
people.
awkward. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
It's
It is
easier to
easier
talk
to
about
talk
other
about
people.
other people, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Which is probably a sign why you need to do it more, right? Like
Yeah, no, you're right. 100%.
You know, what I find helped me at first too was like using prompts. I would like go on
Yes.
Pinterest and find prompts before like getting into journaling before I felt, I say confident, for lack of a better term, of like just jumping right in and having thoughts out on the paper. And then that turned into affirmations. And I feel like that really helps too with like fixing your identity or
Yeah.
recreating yourself,
journal prompts are awesome. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to journaling, I always recommend journal prompts because one, if you don't journal, you don't really always know where to start and what to talk
And that's
about.
probably was a big part of it as well.
Yeah.
It's like,
So
what am I even gonna say?
yeah. And the beauty about it is when you journal and you ask yourself questions that you don't think about on a daily basis, that's when you really start to get to know yourself. So you're not going to think of those questions because you don't ever think of those questions, right? So when you can find some journal prompts, and I always tell my clients this too, because I'll give like a big list of journal prompts, and I'm like, just kind of follow your heart and like look at them, and one is always going to kind of jump out at you a little bit, and that's probably the one you need to address. But if I give you journal prompts and they feel challenging, don't disregard them because those are probably the ones that are most foreign to you because you've never ever thought of anything like that. And so it's uncomfortable, right? So it's the thinking about it and the allowing yourself to have an imagination and to go to those places that really digs up information and helps you learn about yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so this kind of leads us into some of our questions for you.
Let's go.
Okay, first one, Ashley. If someone wants to start or get into self-wellness, where should they start? Whether that's mental or physical. I know we just mentioned journaling, so that seems like a great starting point. But do you have any good starting points, whether that's mental, physical? Just where can people just start getting into caring about their self-wellness?
That's a big question.
It is. It is.
That's a big one. I think that just like you're looking for a doctor or someone to cut your hair or whatever, like compatibility is so important. And it doesn't have to be a person, right? It can be a book that draws your attention. It can be a podcast that draws your attention. But it's allowing yourself to be drawn to the things that you most need, because you'll always be guided. You'll always have like an inner knowing, an intuition that fires off. I mean, I think a big thing is a lot of people are really disconnected from their intuition because we live in a world that we're constantly overstimulated with distraction. So that takes us away from our inner knowing, our intuition. But that's the most important part. Like even with my clients, I don't have like a one size fits all. This is what you need to do to, we talk about, I need to see where they are and I need to meet them where they are. They need to trust me. They need to feel like, they want to work with me and they want to learn from me. I'm not offended when people don't, because I don't want to work with everybody.
Right.
It has to be a compatible thing. And they need to feel like they can open up to me and that I can, provide something beneficial for them. But I think courage is also really important because we like to stay in our comfort zones. There's this terminology that says people would rather, I'm going to mess it up. Hold on. People would rather a comfortable hell over an uncomfortable heaven.
Yeah. That's deep.
People would rather a comfortable hell over
Mhm.
an uncomfortable heaven because we have, this need to like belong and fit in and stay safe. And our brain has decided that even though we're miserable sometimes, we're comfortable here because we've learned how to navigate and survive this.
I think so many people will relate to that. I have like bombs going off in my head right now of people who I know would say like, yes, that's where I'm at right now, because it's
Yeah.
so easy to stay where you're comfortable even if you're unhappy.
That's right. Because we also have this thing where we just automatically go to worst case scenario.
Yes.
So we can admit, I'm miserable. I need a change. I need to do something different. I'm just going through the motions. I'm just stuck and like settling and surviving, right? Like, so we know when we're there, but
Right.
then our brain starts going, but if I leave, this happens. And if I do this, then this happens. And it's always worst case scenario. And what does that do? Keeps you right where you
where
are.
you are.
Right?
And we have so much untapped potential, everyone,
Yes.
that if we just learned how to, and which I feel like is basically what you do for everyone,
Mhm.
is helping people use that untapped potential to make the change. You don't have to stay where you are.
No, but
know?
I think another thing too, and I'm going to ask you guys this question, because I feel like there's a lot of people who are interested in what I do and they ask me questions, but talking about change, right? I have heard before, I don't want to change. And so I wonder too if people are drawn to do some kind of self development, spiritual development work, but there's that thought of like, if I do though, I'm going to become somebody different. And I don't want to become somebody different. If I do that, am I going to lose my friends or my family? Are they not going to relate to me? What if I'm not happy in my job anymore and then I have to make a change? I'm not, I don't know. Is that a thing? Am I
Ye-
making this up?
No, I don't think you. I think that's definitely a thing. I think that some people aren't really getting the difference between changing and growing. Like it's less
Oh,
about
yeah.
changing who you are and just like growing into who you would really want to be.
Evolving.
Yeah, evolving, that's the word. Yeah.
Mhm.
Would you agree with that, Amber? What do you think?
I do agree with that. But I think that there's nothing wrong with the evolving, the changing, because if you're growing into your best self, your real friends, your family, and the people that are meant to be there, they're going to stick with you throughout that entire process. And you might encourage them to join in on the journey as well.
Well, and I'm going to tell you this too. If you're growing and evolving in the ways that are most authentic and feel best for you,
Yes,
the people that you lose were never good for you,
exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
So it does take a certain amount of courage, though, right? Because every client that I have who, experiences some type of progress, they don't finish my courses or my programs and think, I'm a completely different person. Everything about me has changed. I lost all my friends and family and I found new ones. They feel an inner shift and an inner peace and a more like alignment with the truth of who they are that just allows them to be more passionate, have more purpose, have control over the things that once used to really just overtake them, It's such a subtle shift, but it's major at the same time. Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah.
Because when I feel like when you're in that alignment, everything just flows.
Yeah.
Everything just happens naturally, and you really do like attracts like. You would
Mhm.
bring more of that into your life. It's such a good feeling.
Yeah. Get in flow.
Yes.
Practice allowing,
flow.
get in flow.
Yeah, I think allowing is a big part too. You just have to allow yourself to not be scared to lose people. I mean, that's a big thing, I think, for people pleasers like myself. It's like you're scared to let people down, so you just kind of stay in that people pleaser
Mhm.
phase. Like, I'm just going to say what I think they want me to say, even if it's not
Mhm.
really what I believe. So, like, I think that takes a lot of like self work to come out of that part of yourself
Yeah.
and just like stick to what you really think. And like you said, if they're not going to come with you on that journey or support you in the very least, then that it wasn't really they weren't meant to be for you that part of your life anyway.
Absolutely. And I think, things like people pleasing, perfectionism, all those kind of things that a lot of us have. I think I had both of those for most of my life, right? Um, those things can serve us well for so long. Like there's a positive intention behind all of those things, right? The perfectionism is like, I really want to succeed. I really want to do well. I really want to do a great job, right? But it keeps you from moving forward a lot because if you're waiting for to be perfect, you're always going to be waiting, right? And the same thing with people pleasing. You're doing that because you want to fit in. You want people to accept you. You want to feel loved. We all want love, safety, and belonging, you know? So we do those things in order to get what we need to like sustain life in a sense, right? But at the point that you realize you're doing it and you're sacrificing yourself for it, that's when it's like you're it's almost self-abuse, you know? Like that's a strong word, but
No, I think that's key though. Like when
yeah.
you realize that you're sacrificing yourself or something you believe in just to please someone else,
Yeah.
then that's when the self work really needs to come in.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, this is also another loaded question. So
Yeah.
it's okay if it's too big. But what would be your most like basic advice for people who battle anxiety on a daily basis? And I'm thinking this question is more geared towards people who just battle anxiety just with like menial things.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for example, we have a big pep rally at school coming up and it's like just anxiety about something that's small in the grand scheme of things but feels so big to you.
Okay, anxiety. I really think that anxiety levels have like gone through the roof because of what I talked about before, how we're so like overstimulated constantly.
Yeah. In today's world, it really is so true.
Yeah, we are bombarded with information like emails, text messages, TV, everything,
We
everything.
can't shut off.
We
ever.
can't shut off. So I think our norm is like fight or flight, right? Because we're so overstimulated constantly. And I know we're going to get into meditation, I think, in a minute. So I don't mean to jump over this question, but I think too, a lot of people have trouble meditating too because their normal state is such a state of fight or flight that it feels so uncomfortable to like
100%.
stop your brain and get still, you know? But we are responsible for self-regulating. We are responsible for like regulating our nervous system, for getting control of things. We don't have to participate in society's like go harder, work harder, do more, be stronger, work longer. like, but that's the world we live in. And it's constantly making you feel like you can't keep up, you're not good enough. I mean, one thing I promote is your best is always good enough. But in addition to that, don't forget to have fun.
Preach.
People need to hear that too.
We forget to
you
have
do.
fun. And a pep rally to me sounds like it should be a lot of fun.
Right. No, it
Right?
should. Yes.
It should be. But we forget the fun and we just buy into that concept of like, no, it has to be perfect. I have to do more, da, 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 right? And so, I mean, I teach a lot of tools, just mindfulness tools. I mean, you don't have to meditate for 20 minutes a day to be able to control your anxiety. There's so many little anchoring tools and mindfulness exercises that really take 10 seconds, 30 seconds, you know? Um, and I think when you get in the habit of practicing them, again, our habits want to stick to us strongly. So if you're in the habit of things triggering you easily and just going down the rabbit hole with it, that's going to keep happening until you start introducing some type of pattern interrupter, right?
Yeah, and then building the habit, like you said,
Yeah.
to really like know that okay, these are the tools I have. I'm gonna like religiously use them, and it's gonna become like a everyday practice.
And I think you use the tools basically to remind yourself what you're supposed to feel like, you know?
Right.
You need
Mhm.
to we're so disconnected from what we're supposed to feel like in a state of like peace and relaxation, and like we're so disconnected from that. So having those anchoring tools, having those practices that you can go to just in those moments will remind you. I promise you, like that state is my normal state now. When I get anxiety, it's instant that I stop what I'm doing and I breathe it out because I don't like it. I can't stand to feel that feeling of like fight or flight, anxiety, gotta go. Like I can't stand that anymore because I know what it feels like.
Yeah, and so many
Yeah,
people live in that constant state.
I
Like,
did
so
for
many
a
people
long
don't
time.
even know that state of peace,
Yeah.
really. So it's important to recognize that
Hmm.
and work towards getting it.
Right. And that's, like we said before, whatever your norm is, that's your norm. You may not even be aware that there's another option, right? Because that's what you know.
Yeah, especially for moms. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking about, like, it's moms of, like, young children.
Hmm.
It's always fight or flight. Like, you're constantly worrying. You're constantly anxious about your children, just about anything
Hmm.
that has to do with them all day. It's in the back of your mind. So
I can't
this,
imagine.
I know, this entire conversation has me like, I really want to learn those tools and just become a little bit more at peace because you're right. Like, there's no, what's the life if you're living in that state at all times?
Right.
And there is a different way to live, a more peaceful way to like live your everyday and be
Right.
in the moment with the kids versus like so anxious all the time.
Right. And, when I talk to moms, I'm always very like careful and sensitive. I don't have children. So
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't have any business giving any moms advice. I'm sure I would deal with all the same things that moms deal with, if I were in that
Yeah.
position. But speaking on behalf of like a child in the house with my mom, right? Like, I'm so grateful that she was present at, all the things that I decided to do or whatever. But what I would have rathered more is to have a happy mom, to have a happy mom, to have a mentally healthy mom, to have, a strong, confident, believing in herself, mom, because she was amazing, but she literally sacrificed herself and her whole mental health to try to be what she thought she should be in order to be a good mom, right?
And I think that's why that self care is so important. It's not a selfish act
It's
at
not
all.
selfish.
Because I think sometimes, and again, like not a mom, not anyone that can speak on that, but I think sometimes, I mean, moms put themselves after their kids, you
Hmm.
know?
Always, yeah.
So, right. And then sometimes the self care gets pushed to the back burner naturally, but it is so important to be there and be present, like you were saying.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
And like you said, you would have just rather have a mom who was her best self because she was taken care of too.
Right.
So
Right.
this kind of leads into the meditation question that we had.
Okay.
So, meditation, like for beginners, do you have any advice on how to start meditating or just easy ways to incorporate meaningful meditations during the week?
Yes. Just like we talked about journal prompts for journaling, I started with guided meditations because it was really, I mean, every time I would try to sit in silence or, whatever, I would just get frustrated and like give up. But it really helped me to have a more consistent meditation practice when I found a guided meditation that I liked and I could do it, on a regular basis. And because, meditating is like going to the gym, like working out, right?
Absolutely.
You can go to the gym one time, but you're not going to walk out of there 20 pounds lighter feeling like, fitness America. Like
Mhm.
it's going to take some consistency before you feel the results, where you feel good, before you see results in the mirror. And meditation is the same, until you can be disciplined enough to just have a consistent practice. And it doesn't have to be every day. I think the more you do it, the quicker you'll notice the results.
Right.
But again, I attribute that to my more peaceful norm, you know. That's one of the things that I make sure I don't, if I skip a day, I don't beat myself up. If I skip 2 days, I don't beat myself up. But I can tell when I need to like snap it back. Okay, I haven't been meditating like I need to. I need to get back on it. So I think a guided meditation is a good, way to start. I also think have a dedicated space where you like to meditate. It's a place that's cozy, that's comfortable, that you look forward to going to, right? So if you light a candle, if you put some essential oils in the air, if you have like a fuzzy blanket, whatever it is, I think if it's an inviting space, you'll like get excited to go to it, and spend time there. So it doesn't have to be anything like crazy. I also take my yoga mat. I have a little pool on the roof of my condo, and I'll take my yoga mat up there like in the morning.
Yeah.
It's in the city, so it's not very peaceful, but that's when my headphones
And
come
I'm, like,
in.
thinking, what a nice space.
I know.
Like a movie, I feel.
No, it's not. It's not that
I
fancy.
like try to do it on my couch.
Yeah, yeah.
So guided meditations, you could find those on like apps or
Yeah.
YouTube or anything like that.
Mhm.
Okay. Lately at night, I've been putting in my AirPods and putting on a guided sleep meditation, and it has been so amazing. Yeah, and it's really making me want to do like more meditations like just throughout the day. But yeah, it's like him in my ear, and he just like tells me peaceful things about how to go to sleep. It's on Spotify.
Is
Just-
it yoga nidra?
I actually think it is.
Yeah,
It's guided sleep
Oh.
meditation, and
Yeah.
there's like different ones for like forgiving yourself, guided sleep meditation.
Yeah.
Like it's
How am I
really,
just hearing about this.
it's really nice. It's on Spotify.
You know which one is my go-to whenever I'm like I need to prep myself in the morning? There's a driving meditation on
the car?
Spotify. Yes. And he starts with hands on the wheel, keep your eyes open. But he is so calming, but it is just like what do you see like as you're driving? But it's guided and it is lovely.
Well, and this is what I tell people too, right? Like I understand how busy everyone is, and when I was coaching 6 teams for 2 major organizations and managed over 100 people and worked basically 24 hours, 7 days a week.
So crazy to me.
That's
thinking
wild.
About what you really did is just
It's a lot.
Two major teams at a time.
It was a lot.
That sounds like
Yeah.
a lot.
she doesn't stop.
But in that moment, if somebody was like, "You really should meditate," I would have been like, "You need to go somewhere."
I have stuff to do.
You like the minute I sit down to close my eyes, I'm putting out fires because people can't find their uniforms and like they're late for appearances. And
That might have been me.
Yeah, that was Amber actually.
no, it's so funny. What was I saying? Getting back on
Tangents.
track.
Guided
This happens all the
meditations.
time.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm gonna
But
remember in a second.
honestly, I think that was perfect for meditation. It's like we just needed some quick beginner tips for meditation.
Oh, this is what I was going to say.
Okay.
If you don't have time to meditate, which first of all, everybody has time to meditate. There's so many things that we make, like you make time to sit on social media for 5 or 10 minutes. Like,
So true.
so everybody has time to meditate, even if it's just for 5 minutes. But if in your mind, you're like, I really don't have time to meditate, you can have mindful moments, right? I had a client and I was like, where do you park when you go to work or whatever? Do you have like a 5-minute walk? Do you have like a 5-minute walk to your car from the grocery store? Do you or in the grocery store? Can you put something in your ears that's like helping you breathe, helping you calm down? You can have mindful moments, right? Like I was saying, at this point, I don't necessarily need the tools anymore. I just know how to get my body back to regulate, right? So it doesn't require a tool. But if you go to those things in the moments when you need them, you're practicing doing it so that when it starts to happen again, your body's going to know how to recalibrate.
Right, just on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, mindful moments. I love that so much. Okay, so this is kind of switching gears a little bit. We know that you adore dancing and moving your body. So what's your motivation for being active in that way, and like what benefits do you get from it?
I think that I don't have a choice when it comes to dance.
It's ingrained in who you are at this
Yes.
point.
Yeah, I really don't. Like, if music is on and I'm feeling it, I'm moving. Like, that's just what happens. It's very obvious to me that I'm meant to dance, that I was supposed to dance. And I just get the added benefit that it's good for you. I think it's good for you just movement wise, physically. But it's also good for your mood,
Your mood, yeah.
Yeah, just the endorphins and the feel good nature of what you're doing. It kind of breaks my heart a little bit what dance has become because it's so extra intense and competitive,
Oh yeah.
like so competitive and intense. It's cutthroat.
And I think that fosters that perfectionism,
the anxiety,
the anxiety,
the
'cause you're
people pleasing,
always trying.
And I get it.
It's all about,
And I get it because
image
like
and being the best.
yeah. And I get it because, dance teachers, studio owners, team, leaders want their people to be the best they can be. So you're going to push them.
Absolutely.
And absolutely, I get it, right? But the part that makes me kind of sad is that, like, I always think of dance as a soul expression, right? I mean,
Mhm.
you're meant to, like, get lost in the music, and it's meant to make you feel something.
Exactly.
And it's not meant to make you feel anxiety, self-conscious, intensity,
Or like
pressure,
that you don't
you
want to
know?
do it,
And
you
anything you
know?
love, right? Anything
Yes.
you love is going to put a certain amount of pressure on you. Is going
Correct.
to, whatever, right? It's going to make you nervous. You're going to want to do your best.
Yep.
Yes, and that's totally, totally normal. But we're losing that, like,
The
just have
real
fun and
passion.
feel it, and, like, let go. By the time you go to perform, you shouldn't be overthinking anymore. You should just be, like, in the moment, feeling the music, loving every ounce of your life. Yeah.
I love that so much. Okay. Do you have any tips you can give our listeners on how to work or maintain your confidence?
Yeah. Um, it's funny because I've actually done a couple of teen workshops recently about how to grow your confidence and be more confident. And I think the first thing we always start out with is like 10 things. And I'm not going to go through all 10 with you here because I won't remember all 10 on the spot. But there's a lot of things that really destroy our confidence. And I think it's a lot of things that people are not even really aware that they're doing, right? Like negative self talk destroys your confidence, self doubt destroys your confidence, comparing yourself to other people chronically destroys your confidence. Having toxic people around you all the time destroys your confidence. There's so many more, but I mean, just specifically about the comparison part, as humans, we just naturally, when we look at other people, we take that information and we make it mean something about us, right? So comparing in a healthy way to just kind of see where you stand and like what you need to work on or whatever, that's great. But we tend to go too far, and what we do is say, "Oh my God, she's so beautiful. I'm ugly. I wish I was as beautiful as her." Right? So
Yeah.
her being beautiful doesn't mean that I'm not beautiful. We're all beautiful in different ways, right? So we can be inspired by each other and like recognize that, oh my gosh, she's beautiful. And it doesn't have to mean a thing about me.
Right. Two completely separate things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are things that like destroy confidence. And honestly, the opposite is what grows your confidence. It's building a mindset where you realize that you are responsible for the thoughts that you think because they affect your feelings, your emotions, and that triggers your behaviors, right? So your thoughts are like the seeds that you're planting in the garden that is your brain. And if you're planting seeds constantly of negative self-talk, self-doubt, beating yourself up, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that, no chance in hell you're having confidence, right?
Yeah.
You have to train your brain to think more positive thoughts. And when I tell people that, a lot of times I feel like they think I'm telling them to lie to themselves. You know, it's actually telling yourself the truth because you're assuming that you're making assumptions, your comparison, and you're telling yourself all these negative things that aren't actually true. You're just choosing to believe them. So it's telling yourself, I'm not that talented yet, but I'm working hard every day and I'm getting there. Right?
Right. Something that you said too about not being so hard on yourself. I think another thing that a lot of people can work on, including myself, is like self forgiveness or like letting go of your past or certain things that you holding on to that really don't reflect who you are anymore can hold you back from being truly confident in yourself.
100%.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know many ways to work on that self forgiveness, but I think it's key in gaining confidence or
Yeah.
being your true confident self.
Yeah. I think one thing that worked for me because I was definitely someone who kind of replayed things over and over in my mind and like, oh, I felt it stab me all over again, right?
Yes,
And like felt
yes.
all the feelings again. Um, I think that where I kind of remedied that or greatly improved that was everything we experience is meant to teach us something, is meant to help us grow, is meant for us to learn from. We're always doing the
Yes.
best we can, right?
Yes.
So when those things happen to pop into my head, honestly, I just really try to let it go in the moment. But if that doesn't work, then I go into like a question sequence of asking myself, what did I learn from that? How did that
Yes.
experience make me better?
Mhm.
How am I, how can I move forward knowing that I'm not going to do that next time,
Right.
because of that experience? And I have that experience to thank for it. And I think
Yeah.
bringing up that information and knowing and seeing how it made me better as a person
Mhm.
allows me to let it dissolve.
Yeah.
and be grateful for it.
And be grateful for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that so much.
Yeah, I love that too because I think there's we all just relate to that so much. Because sometimes I'm just like in the kitchen, I don't know, washing dishes, and the memory pops up. I'm like, oh, and I cringe. I'm like, girl, you gotta let it go.
Gotta let it go.
Yeah.
It's weird how that will like stay, that like shadow of like who you used to be.
Well, we didn't get all into the voice of judgment yet, but
No.
Amber's going to learn about the voice of judgment
I
really
am.
soon.
That's
if we don't get
perfect.
into it here.
This is perfect because, okay, so voice of judgment, that's kind of leading us into, I think we've gotten to know who you are through those few questions, right? Like scratching the surface of like who you are and kind of what you're going to offer to people. So diving deeper, let's talk about what programs you offer in your business. Can you kind of just like talk through what those look like?
For sure. So I do teen coaching too. I work a lot with teen girls, but I love working with adults too. So I can't really pick one lane because I'm just passionate about helping people and, making people's lives better. Like, and it's not even me making people's lives better. It's me helping them to see what has always been there.
For themselves.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. But I do one-on-one coaching, and I also do group coaching. More specifically, I teach a course called the Clarity Catalyst. It came from Stanford University because the guy who was in charge of the business school, Dr. Michael Ray, he was noticing that all of his students were like so bright, had everything they needed to succeed, and they were going off into the real world, getting great jobs, and they were miserable.
Really?
So he developed this course to unlock creative potential, to really help people manage stress and anxiety, to get a better perspective on time, to be more connected in relationships, to lean more and like discover their purpose, really be clear about what their purpose is and live it, more fully. So they took the course out of Stanford because they wanted it to be available to more people because it quickly became like the most popular course at Stanford. And so it's a transformational course. It's 8 weeks. It's all about mindfulness and emotional intelligence. We talk about a lot about the things that we've talked about here already. The whole class on the voice of judgment and the negativity in our heads and everything is like really my favorite. It really opened my eyes to so much and accelerated my transformation. And I'm starting a group this Monday. So I have an online group ready to go Monday night.
Yeah, so excited.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if it was online or in person or both or hybrid or how does it work?
I've done it both. This one is going to be online. Whenever I do an in-person group, it's usually that I have enough people asking me for it that I know I can form a group together. I do have people in other states sometimes that want to take the course and join. So it's helpful when I do an online version occasionally so that everybody can jump on, and it makes it more convenient too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think this part's huge for our listeners because Ashley has given us a code to share with everyone. So if you're interested and this is like speaking to your soul,
It's speaking to mine. I have to say it's speaking to mine. Deeply.
absolutely. So the code is going to be OB200.
Right.
OB200.
Right. I have like a really great package. It's enrollment in the 8-week course. It's 8 weeks, 90 minutes a week. And on top of that, I have some bonuses. So I already have the price like as low as I'm supposed to go, but I'm giving your listeners an extra $200 off.
Incredible.
It's like really a steal.
It really is.
Yeah.
I've taken a workshop of Ashley's and I sobbed my eyes out. I talked about the meditation on the podcast.
So my mom listened to the meditation that she recounted from her experience with you, and she called me and she was like, I'm crying. That was so impactful. And that was just from one session with you. So I am so excited to see what I can get out of this whole 8-week course.
Oh, yeah.
It really is powerful. And you really do have a way with people that makes them feel comfortable.
Good.
And I think that's huge.
I want to tell you all my life secrets right now. Like I want to just like unload on you so much right now.
I know, I'm not even kidding. I sent her a text the
love
other day. I'm
it.
like, this is what's going on in my life, and I'm just going to tell you everything right now.
I know. No, I love it, and I want to make it clear too that that price is not so low because the course lacks value.
Oh, absolutely not.
I've
no.
never had someone take the course and be like, "Oh, that was the worst money I ever spent," or anything like that. Most of the time, it's like, "How come you didn't charge like 4 times that amount?" You know. But I so want people to experience this because I know the transformation possibilities that it has. I've seen it with so many of my clients, and I know that everyone is really, anxious about money, and it's a real thing, right? So I'm offering it this low right now to your listeners, just really because I want people to feel like it's doable for them. I want it to be an easy yes, because I really think it is so powerful and can really, help transform people's lives in the best possible way.
100%. And we're so thankful that you were able to come on and just share your knowledge with us. Do we have any more questions?
I just think I'm so thankful, like Amber
Yes.
said, to hear from you because now I'm so excited to like dive deep into this course. I think what you said is so amazing about wanting it to feel doable for people because that's so important in
Yeah.
like today's economy,
Yeah.
inflation. But like people do deserve the chance to do the self work, to find self forgiveness, to reach like a potential that they don't even know that they can.
Exactly.
Like everyone deserves that chance. So it's so
Exactly.
amazing that like you're willing to give that to people.
And honestly, like in the group setting, um, it's so great because you're sharing with people, and it can be scary sometimes. You never have to share more than you're comfortable with, right? But just to connect with people in a way where you're talking about important things, you're hearing that other people are dealing with the same things as you,
It
right?
sounds very freeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You gain a lot from each other too, right? You make new friends. You just feel uplifted by everybody else's stories and hearing how they're receiving the content too. You know.
Yeah, I'm excited to share it with other people.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This was
You're
so amazing.
welcome. I
Before
loved
we
it.
go, where can people find you? What are your socials?
Yeah.
Where can they follow you?
Yeah. So Instagram is Ash Deets, ASHDEATS _ soul work, but work is spelled with an E because I'm a dancer. Remember?
You better work.
Yep. Yep. Feed. What did I say? Work the body, feed the soul.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is it.
Yeah. Work the body, feed the soul. So that's Instagram. Website is soulworkcoaching.com. What else you need? What else you think?
I think that's
That's-
good.
yeah,
that's
that's
the I
good.
think that's the major ones.
Yeah. Ashley Deaton is Facebook. Yeah. So you'll
Where
find
do
me there.
people get into the course?
Yes.
Like apply for it?
Yes. I have a. Do y'all do show notes or how to?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we can put it in the show
Let's
notes.
do that. I'll give you the link straight.
Okay.
That'll go straight to the course page.
Perfect.
Yep. So
we can
people
link it on our Instagram as well.
Yes.
Perfect.
Awesome. Awesome. So people can go there, get all the information, because I know we didn't really go through all the details of the course, but it's all on that page. So if people are unsure or they're thinking about it, they can check out the course page. If they want to do it, they can register at the bottom of that page. There's a little bar for putting in the promo code
Perfect.
OB200. Yeah. And you'll get an extra 200 off the price you see on that page.
Incredible.
OB Open Books 200.
It's so cute. OB, Open Books 200.
You're like, what's OB about?
What's OB? Oh, that's us.
Well, I think if any of this spoke to anybody and they really want to dive deep into those topics that we mentioned, this would be a really, really great opportunity. So thank you so much again.
You're so welcome.
All right.
I
Well,
loved it.
we love y'all so much. Follow us on Instagram at Open Books Podcast. Yep. And we'll link all of the things that you guys need. Bye, y'all. Thank you.